This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to this special session of Horror Anthology. Welcome Deepthi, Satadal Lahiri, Vikash Pal Chaudhary, Pawan Mehta, Tanmay Sharma. So we will begin with our recap session on this anthology that is ongoing. So first of all, I will congratulate you all who have submitted your stories, and I've gone through them. I have also reverted back to you with certain pointers on how to make it better. So we will be discussing about that. I'm not going to discuss individual stories right now, but I will be discussing some general points which I have observed across in most of the stories. And let me tell you one thing at the outset: there is nothing like rejection or failure, as I see. It's always an opportunity to get better. So if somebody is pointing out certain things, that it's only to help you make things better. That after all, the story is going with your own name, you as an author. So why not make it the best? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You can show hands if you agree with that. Yeah. So that's the objective. We want to bring out some good stories, and we want to bring out a series. Now, what I was thinking, see, initially I thought, let's begin with one book. Then I thought, why not two books? Now I think that the way people have started taking interest, and as I see when I interact with people, a lot of people are interested in this genre. So we can go with three books also. And there's nothing like you missed the first book. No. Uh, who knows? The second book could be, better than the first book, because in all the books, Satvik will be there. Who's Satvik? SL?
Satsal plus Vikram.
Yeah. So in all the books, we both will be there. So it'll always feel at home. And yeah, I mean, it can only get better. The stories can only get better with some iterations. Of course, you have to, I mean, now let me bring out the points in general. First of all the anthologies, all the subsequent books, the terms are all the same like before, right? You have already gone through the video, if not attended the meeting. Has anybody not attended the first meeting and not gone through the video also? You have not? Yeah, that's the problem. That's why you are not bringing out, bringing out your story in a manner it is required. So go through it, Spandan. Go through that link. I have posted it several times. If you want, we can post it once more. And if you go through that link, I have explained in detail, not briefly. I have explained in detail what is required from you. Like say if there is a something, the size of the story. Now why we have kept one size of the story is because the weightage has to be there. From one story to another in the book, it should not seem like, okay, one author has written a great story but the others have written just short stories. There has to be a uniform weightage. And how much of branding is going into the book for the author, let me also explain. First of all, there is a title page before every story, which has the name of the story and the author and a punchline. Okay. If you want, I can show you one moment. I'll show you. Give me a moment. I'll show you. Can you see the screen? Can you see the story? Is it visible?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is visible.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the title of my story is Love in a Crosshair, and I have depicted with a small creative. If you can find a small creative, not bigger than this, for your story, you can put that in. It will come black and white. It will not come in colored because that's how the printing is done. Okay, this is not a colored printed book, so it will come in black and white. So just have a tiny creative, just if it goes with the story. Then I have given a punchline and my author name, right? So this is how is it, and then the story begins. Okay, couple of pages it goes, and then about the author in the end. So this has got all about you and your. If you have a website, you can create a barcode with your website, or if you don't have a website, then you can you can do it with your Amazon Central page. That's also a good thing to have a barcode with. So where you want to take your reader to follow you, you put that. If you want to take your reader to your website, take them to your website. If you want to take them to your Amazon Central page, take them there. Whichever is more beneficial for you, do that, right? If you're something more than just a writer, take them to your website. If you are just a writer, Amazon is the only place where you want them to find. That's also good. So the reason why I did not give a photograph here is somebody will see the photograph, okay, and flip the page. That's it. That's the end of the photograph. But if there is a barcode over there, somebody will be prompted to scan it. And once they scan it, they land up in your home. Right? You like that idea?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So this is something new. I have not seen in any other anthology so far. We thought, let us experiment this with our one. And secondly, the second volume, third volume, minimum 3 volumes now I am looking at, we should be doing. Okay, so second volume and third volume will also come in quick successions, and we'll have a series of books before any other book fair or any other thing, and it's always it always adds more weight if there are 3 books or a series of books in an anthology. So it gives a real good feel to the reader as well, that this is not the end of it. And in each volume, there will be a few repeated authors and few new authors, because when this movement has started, many people will join, definitely. So those who have not yet written, not yet submitted, 13th May, Friday the 13th, as SL loves to call it, is the deadline. Okay. Before that, I am not officially selecting or not selecting. There's no question of not selecting. I'll be bugging you. I'll send it back to you with comments. Do this, do that, do this, do that. Till the time I don't feel scared reading your story. आपको मुझे डराना है. Till the time I don't feel scared reading your story. And mind you, I am reading the stories near to midnight. Okay. So that I'm not distracted by the activities of daytime. And if you can't scare me at midnight, then you have to rework on your story. Is that good for a concept?
Very good.
Yeah. So scare me, give me a sleepless night, then I'll say, yeah, your story is great. Thereafter, it is all about editing and tinkering. That will take care. No problem. But first of all, your story has to scare. You have to take away my sleep for that night, and then I'll know, yeah, that's it. You know what happened with my story when I was ideating that? I was, going on, putting it into a film role in my mind. And I got so spooked up for 2-3 nights, I could not sleep. So, I was discussing with SL what to do. Was I'm not able to sleep now. I'm, terrified totally with my thoughts. Then he said, put it down on paper. It helped. I took a day time, maybe on a weekend, and I wrote it on my Word, and thereafter the fear settled because I could express. It came out. Till the time you are not able to express, the fear is within you. The moment you express it out, it is out. So this is how I have done, and this is how everybody should do. So any questions so far? Anybody's having any stumbling block or any problem, facing any issues, any questions you want to ask? Let's do that, and then I will conclude with saying what needs to be done further. Yeah, BPC, please come on.
Just a query. For the first part, if it is a series of 3, then Vit plus Sat is a common factor. The other 8 will be variables.
Yes.
Now, the 8 people whose stories will be there in the first of the volume, whether again their second book will go to the second, third volume. This is one part of the question. And the second part is, it is not exactly a question. In the spirit of collaboration, I think we are matured enough that we all are working for this thing. But horror story, for me personally, it is a different genre altogether. I am struggling, in fact. And there are certain things which is beyond my capacity. I'll try, of course, and the rest I'll leave to the higher power. So that's it. That's the 2 points I wanted to say. And the rest I'll try to submit my second. Let me tell, the first one I have done, it is not a failure or anything, but it was not returned to me, although actually you have communicated to me about it is more of a suspense thriller than a horror thing. I like it, and let it remain. Let it remain. Once I have written it, it will be with me. The second one, I am on it. I was also working now also on Sundays because I am a workaholic otherwise. I think by 13th I can submit that one. That is my thing. In the second part, I will not tell anything about my own things. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that was, your first observation was that there are going to be multiple volumes in this series. No doubt about that. Yeah, 2 of us are ubiquitous, and then 8 other stories will get added. And again, the criteria for selection is not that the 8 best have gone in. So please don't, think in that manner at all, that the 8, they were the best, so they got selected. It's not like that. All books are equal for me because it is a series. There has to be, at least 4 or 5 powerful stories in each book. Otherwise the second book will lose its steam totally. And don't be skeptical about reworking on your story. Don't say I have written it and put it aside. Don't do that. Rework on it. We can still do it. And trust me, I have also reworked on my story. I wrote my story in the first go. I have also reworked on my story based on.
He has worked 4 times on his story.
Yeah.
Yes. To complete the things as a corollary, that means in the first volume, those apart from those 8 best stories, the other things will automatically spill over to the next thing, with the observation, of course, subject to its thing. That means first come, first serve here. This is
not exactly first come, first serve. Let me tell you how it is happening. Somebody has submitted, okay, and then somebody has reworked it. Somebody has not reworked it. So obviously we will not be endlessly waiting for one person to rework and reset. So as and when it starts getting completed, we will try to put in those volumes, because we have to also start working. As much time you are going to take for writing it, probably more time will be taken for us to dress it up.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
so I'll appreciate if my things with the proper observation, if it is sent back, Vikram, captain of the ship, devil
Yeah,
ship.
now I will come to that. See, in most of the stories, what I felt is that the buildup is huge, whereas the fear encounter is small. So when we are building up, we are building it up like a novel, as if we are going to write a novel. And then we briefly bring out the horror element in it because we want to make it a horror story. So it should be the otherwise. The episode of the horror has to be such that the reader should have faster heartbeat. The reader should be breathing heavily. The leader should be stoned and at the same time thirsty to turn the pages because they want to reach the end of the story. So keeping these elements in mind, if you rework on your story, it won't be hard. It is a general thing for everybody. All of you are writers. Nobody over here is amateur. You are all published authors. In my case, I'm a non-fiction author, but at least you are a fiction author. You know how fiction is written.
Yes.
You have to feel the story and you have to write accordingly. So I have myself reworked on my own story 3 to 4 times because I did not depend on SL to patch it up for me, that you do the patchwork. Okay, this is my skeletal story, you do the patchwork. He told me, boss, मजा नहीं आया, यहाँ पे कुछ missing है. Okay, ठीक है. Again I took some time, again I started writing it. So I have also tinkered it 3 to 4 times. I have added or subtracted episodes from that. And finally, we both are satisfied with the output. So
Thank you
as I
for your
showed you,
editing job, Vikram.
sorry?
Thank your editing table. Editing job also you are doing because it is some sort of scrutiny work you are doing. It's a great thing.
Yes,
And
you have to
I also
because
thought that it is a foreign territory for me, and that's why I say it. I try, and the rest is
yes,
something
yes.
cannot be all
So
of a
just
sudden developed.
remember
Out
these.
and out horror mindset of horror. I thought that it will not be possible covering 4,000 things. My personal view, but we all are trying. That's it. By the third, volume, I think will be matured enough.
Now what happens is when you start writing a novel, you don't have a word limit. Okay, you can make as many build-ups, you can make as many subplots. You can write a novel within 30,000 words or 50,000 or even 80,000. It's all in your hand. So you go on writing, go on writing, go on writing. But the challenge comes when you have to finish it within a limit of minimum and maximum words. That's
and with
the
a
challenge.
deadline, with a deadline attached to it.
So that's what happens is you have to rework. Trust me, one author wrote 13,000 words. Can you believe it? Now, how do I suggest where to cut, where not to cut? उठा के 13,000 words लिख दिया.
I'm struggling with it now.
Yeah. So you have to trim it down. You have to bring it down, and still not lose the flavor. तो बहुत ज्यादा build-up भी नहीं करना है, बहुत थोड़ा भी नहीं करना है, apt रखना है. The objectives,
actually what happens?
1 minute, sir. Please keep the objectives in mind. The objectives is, as I told you, increase the heart rate, increase the breathing, increase the curiosity to turn the pages. It has to be an unputdownable book. एक बार उठा लिया ना, तो it has to be like जैसे लेस का चिप्स का पैकेट होता है ना, छोटा पैकेट खोलो चाहे बड़ा पैकेट खोलो, खत्म होने के पहले कोई छोड़ता नहीं है. Did you ever tie up a Lay's chips packet and put it back? Never. And after eating the last bit also, you shake it up and check that kuch bacha to nahi. This is what we have to give. Yeah, Deepti, you had a question.
Yeah, my story. I was talking about my story. एक तो मुझे उसका टाइटल आई एम स्टिल कंफ्यूज अबाउट द टाइटल And thank you for editing it, Satyadar ji. You did a wonderful job. I knew कि मेरे tenses में बहुत problem रहती है, मुझे नहीं समझ में आता कि past में करना है, present में आ रही हूँ मैं. So you did a wonderful job. And थोड़ा सा cutting और थोड़ा सा और उसमें enhance करने के लिए आपने suggest किया था, which I will try to do. I don't know if I'll be able to do it in the stipulated time right now. या फिर वो maybe it will go into the other one. So that is okay. So my question is कि कैसे मैं इसको फ्लो को पकड़ कर रखूं, बिकॉज दिस इज अ न्यू जॉनर. आई डोंट नो, आई एम गेटिंग कंफ्यूज्ड अबाउट इट.
I'll share 2 points here. Sorry to
Yeah.
barge in. Number one, most of the stories, even not in our group, even outside our group, you'll be up. If you read some horror story, you'll find that as Vikram ji said, the build-up is great, and then it comes to a middle part and a conclusion. And the build-up is for the conclusion. कि एक haunted house है, वो haunted क्यों है, and then the things in the haunted house happens, and then the conclusion comes कि वो आदमी मर गया, भाग गया, whatever. Now the thing is, in a short story, what happens? You have to start in a way, or you have to flow in a way, कि as if the reader should experience whatever you are experiencing. Now, in your case, you are taking yourself as a character. Now, what is happening is you have to relate to those people, to the people who are actually reading it. You have to take them along. Now, just think, कि आप reader हो, okay, where you want some masala. No, you can yourself find out when you start reading it seriously. Don't think that it is your work. You think that it is somebody else's work, and you will, जैसे विक्रम जी ने find out किया कि यहाँ पे something is uneven. Then he managed to make it totally even, and he worked on it 3 to 4 times. So you yourself is the first reader for your book, and for a genre like horror, what happens is, if you sometimes feel चलो ठीक है 2-3 lines skip करते हैं और 5 lines skip करते हैं, then you have not done justice. So the person should not skip even a single line. So what we try to do, we try to bring in some element of surprise. ऐसा हो गया, वैसा हो गया. Like say haunted house. पहली मैं declare कर दिया हूँ कि ये haunted house है. So what happened? One person had come and he came out alive, but his right leg was missing. Now my question is, the reader's question is, why right leg? Why not left leg? लास्ट तक राइट लेग का कोई जिक्र ही नहीं रहेगा, लेकिन वो क्वेश्चन रहेगा. So these are the little spices that we add, so that, and it should not be totally a Hindi film like spice. दरवाजा खुल गया, कैट आ गया, माउस आ गया, or something like that. वो भी नहीं होना चाहिए. बारिश हो गया, मून आ गया. So it should be something, because those things people are often seeing. So something should be there which creates a question in the mind. Now I have written a story. I had written 2-3 stories, so I chose this one. It's called The Raven. अभी most of the people you ask, अभी बहुत लोगों को पता है Raven क्या है. I was surprised. Raven is a type of crow. Generally people know about this, but Raven is a kind of a living being. वो कोई भी shape ले सकता है. वो आदमी भी हो सकता है, वो औरत भी हो सकता है, वो कुछ भी हो सकता है. So that Raven is the character of the story. So the question keeps on coming, even if you know what a raven is, or even if you don't know what a raven is, ये है क्या, ये क्या कर रहा है, ये क्यों कर रहा है, इससे क्यों करवाया जा रहा है, why him, why not somebody else? So that kind of curiosity we should keep on creating. One of the stories, I'll take Vikramji's story only. Vikramji's story starts with a spooky happening. तो क्या होता है कि people are immediately jolted into attention. अरे हाँ, something is happening. कुछ एक happening से चालू होता है. And the build-up happens in the middle. What I like best about his book is he started with a bang. It's like Seva getting a first ball 6 or something like that. And then the build-up of the innings happens. So that creates the you call it the spookiness, or you call it the chills or whatever for the reader. So वो करने से अच्छा है. In fact, I would suggest something for your story. आपका जो end है ना, उसको beginning में लेके. You come out with the result and you follow the rest as a flashback. अब देखिए स्टोरी का एकदम टेक्सचर चेंज हो जाएगा. I think. You try that, you think about that, and of course, if you get stuck, we are there. And 13 तक आपका हो जाएगा, madam. You don't have to worry about the next volume. 13 तक आपका हो जाएगा. You have to tinker just a little bit here and there. End को लेके आइए ऊपर. You see the total texture will change.
See, Deepti, what I liked about your story is you have used the element of fear of unknown very well. Okay, never you are defining your monster clearly, or never you are trying to create a three-dimensional ghost or anything. So you are using that fear of unknown very well. Only thing is the connection between your scenes has to get better. You know, somewhere you are whipping up the fear element, but you are leaving it off very soon. By the time reader को उसका हार्ट बीट बढ़ाएगा, आप छोड़ देते हो उसको, तो वो क्या हो रहा है, उसको रेस्ट मिल जाता है. वो मत करो आप. एक बार हार्ट बीट बढ़ाना शुरू किया तो उसकी डेथ होनी चाहिए. मतलब उसको लेके जाओ ऊपर तक, जिसको कहते हैं ना फियर गैजम्स, वो होना चाहिए. ठीक है, तो बाकी आपका सही जा रहा है. थोड़ा आप उस पर रिवर्क करो. और जैसा कि अभी बताया एसएल ने मेरी स्टोरी के बारे में, व्हाट आई डिड इज it began with a bang. Okay, first ball pe sixer, kuch aisa spooky happening, something has happened. Okay, now even the character definition also I am not doing like a character definition. It is coming through conversation. Okay, like there is one character which I start saying Jags. Apparently he's my friend. Later I describe that he is Jagar Singh. Then I further in the story I describe that he's a police officer. Okay, I don't give it off in the first paragraph that he is Jagar Singh, he lives here, he's a police officer. Kahan ka police officer hai, that comes later in the story. And what he does is, again, they keep appearing and going. Somebody has to mute. All right. So like that, another character we say, like first we say, shut up Pandit. So somebody will think, okay, he's a Pandit. Okay. But later on we discuss that he is not Pandit, but
He's a doctor.
He's a doctor. He's Dr. Lokesh Sharma.
And he's called as Loki Pandit.
And our friends are calling him Loki Pandit. So matlab, it has to come gradually into the story. Don't make it a segment, don't make it an episode, don't start defining the character too much. Keep a hold on the flow of incident. Now this is I'm telling for everybody, you know, keep a hold on the incident thoroughly. Let the characters come and go as you wish. All right, have I answered your question? Right, now
Yeah,
Lagna Jita.
thank you.
Lagna Jita, please, your question, please.
Yeah. Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Full apprehensive hearing about your Jagger Singh. Anyway, whatever. I'm trying to build up. As I said earlier, humor is coming too much, but yes, now that humor has stopped, I myself am feeling more frightened how to put up the plot. But because it's something new which I have not written, I am also anxious and about the things that should at least be put up little in a framework structure. That's the main thing. And there are, I see several obstructions coming up. And you, as I said, you board correction and all these things. I thought today I would sit and at least I would cover up almost more than half. Then again, daughter has fallen a bit sick. But can you tell me what is the word limit?
You go through my video once again if you haven't. 3,500 is the minimum, 4,000 is the maximum. Okay,
I
now,
think I can do that.
But a little bit here and there is acceptable.
Will
Not
do. Yeah.
But the purpose of setting the word limit is that each story should be of a certain number of pages.
Yeah, we should have a limitation. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
correct.
it should have certain number of pages. One story should not prevail thoroughly, and one story should not end very abruptly. So we want to have a proper weightage.
Okay. Compilation.
Even in my non-fiction books, if you ever have gone through that, you'll find that there is a weightage across all the chapters also. It's not that
Yes, yes.
one chapter is extremely lengthy and the other is extremely small. It's not like that. So there has to be a flow in the book. Ultimately it should be ending up with readers' delight. So this is
Yeah,
what we are
trying
aiming.
so. Let's see.
This is
Okay.
what we are aiming
Thank
at.
you. Thank you.
Your question is answered, Lagnajita? All right, all right. We look forward to reading your story soon. Next question is Pratyusha, Pretty Usha or Prati
Hi,
Usha. How do you like to call yourself?
Pratyusha.
Yeah. Come on, please
Good
bring up your
evening.
question.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. No, nothing specific actually that I wanted to ask, but since I had sent my story, I know Satyadal sir was working on it, like he was editing it. Just wanted to know, like, where, I mean, does it all qualify? Is it scaring the people? Because it's something I'm exploring totally for the first time, and I don't know who is speaking. Okay. So I didn't know actually like where it went, where I went to, where I landed, and that's what I generally wanted to know. That how was it?
You'll get your feedback by tomorrow. In fact,
Okay.
I'll tell you, like most of the people who are writing horror for the first time, they'll always face this. Because of the built up and then the spookiness, the element, how to balance it. So somebody does it well, somebody does it the way they write. But there, as Vikramji said, there has to be an okay, my video is off.
Okay.
Okay, Pratisha, in your story, there is there is a protagonist who is doing some research and he stumbles into a situation or a discovery that he can predict who's the person who's going to be taken up by the monster next. Okay, I love that build up, but the element of horror in the way of eliminating that person is yet to be put in. You have to make that incident scary enough for the reader. Oh, this is the way, is it? This is how it happens. So
Okay.
without that, it is just like you anticipated something and then you reported that it happened. But how it
becomes
happened,
a bit predictable. It becomes a bit
yeah.
predictable.
So don't make it very predictable. Make it like how that thing is happening and why it is happening, so that you know even the reader should be able to predict whose name will come next. What is happening, what is triggering that the next person is chosen by the monster.
Okay.
Work on this part and then it will become a great story. The concept, the theme that you have taken is fantastic.
Okay. Sure. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
And if somebody has got a very short story like Spondan Ganguly, like you do not need to narrate things to make it long. You can add incidences. Okay, narration, narration of the place, or maybe a person, or maybe some object, and you try to narrate it so that the story lengthens to match up with the minimum words. That does not help the reader. Actually, you should put in some incidences or something through conversation that will be adding up a little bit of spice. So that's how, if you want to, if your story is short, you want to sort of lengthen it, put another incident into that of the similar nature that you are going to narrate, that you are going to project in your story. That kind of an incident, you just put it there, and make the reader belong to that, and automatically your thing will be lengthened.
Excuse me, I want to. Can I? Sorry. Can I
Yeah,
ask?
please.
Yeah,
Please.
yeah. Acha, Dada, I want to know if you can give me a small like help or example. For example, if Ram is meeting Madhu in a new place, and I want to define that place or win their conversation. So, as you said, not to narrate much about that place. But that is one thing which is coming in my writing, which I understand is not correct.
If the narration of the place has something to do with the incidents, if the narration of the place has got something to do with the story, which is very important, you cannot miss it out, then okay. Like in Vikramji's story, there is a narration about some kind of a house. I'll not give out the story, of course. Some kind of house or some kind of tree or something like that.
Yes.
That is involved in the story. So if unnecessary narration, like I've gone to Patna, now I start narrating Patna. In this particular gully of Patna, there is this pan dukan and that this thing. What happens is people get distracted. So in horror,
Understood.
So try it.
To elaborate further on this, like in my case, it is not a haunted house. Something happened over there. That's why people are sort of not liking that place at all. And even I find that except for a particular tree in that compound, which looks out of place, nothing else is out of place. Okay, and I accidentally stumbled into a dungeon or a basement or something, which I did not know existed earlier. And the place is the happening ground for that particular incident. Apart from that, everything looks very harmless and pleasant. Okay, so we don't have to define like an old castle which looks horrendous from each angle, like how in Gothic stories we read about, bats flying out of every window and snakes crawling up every wall. We don't have to go to that extent.
And secondly is, like what is our ambition as fiction authors is that one fine day, it will get adapted into screenplay. Now what happens, a conventional story, since I have done one screenplay, that's why I'm saying this. If you take a conventional story and make it into screenplay, it's very, very tough. You have to put in punching dialogues. You have to mention the posture of the person. So it becomes tough. So think in this manner that later on my story, not only is this anthology, but other stories as well, fiction writers, just think that my story someday will become a film. Try to picturize like that. So your writing style will change somewhat. Keeping the meaning of the story and the crust of the story same, you will make it less difficult for the screenplay writer. So dialogues are very important. Like in Vikramji's book, through dialogues, everything happens. A majority of the things happen through dialogue. So that gives a sense of belonging to the reader. Maybe sun raha hu type ka. So if you see, I had posted a small, prologue where there are only, WhatsApp messages. Everything is described within that. So dialogues are very important for horror kind of mystery kind of things. Other than the narratives. Narratives, of course, as Vikramji said, in a novel, it will be big. In a short story, it will be curtailed. But try to make it happening through some discussion, something that will captivate people. Kya type of thing will happen. So try to work on that in all your books, of course, because I hope, and I sincerely hope that all your books will one day adapted as screenplays. So with that hope, let us take our author journey forward. So,
and also we have already told you, and just to remind you, we are going to present these books, the series of books, to at least 2 filmmakers. Okay, we are going to present this to 2 filmmakers. I don't know which of your stories will click his mind and he would want to make a film on that. Obviously, he's not going to make a film on every story in that book, but yeah, if it is your story, nothing like it.
And then your name is there. Your name is there. So if your story is picked, you are picked. Sir, please.
Valentina, you had a question?
Yes, yes. I also wanted to know about my story, I've sent you the second version. So what else do I have to do? What all I have, some corrections, whatever I would like to know, like here, like this, like.
I am yet to receive your second version, if you have sent one.
I've emailed you, no? Today I sent you.
Okay. Today yes, today you
Yes.
emailed it. I could not see because I was, preparing for this meeting. So I'll be reading it today and I'll revert to you on that. Initially, what I felt was that the horror element was very less and the build-up
Less.
was good. You were describing about somebody's midnight experience.
Yeah.
Somebody had a supernatural experience around midnight, but that happened in like a few seconds.
Yeah.
She was just touched by something and then that's it. Then she's carrying the fear thereafter. But maybe you could elaborate a little bit on that element, like what exactly happened, what exactly, what touched her, what happened to her. So you can.
Actually, it was like this, that in the beginning, small things happened. Then later, gradually big things started happening. So yeah,
I'll tell
my
you
fear
what.
factor was.
I'll tell you what to beat around this. You have to make your story unput downable. So give the spice first, and then the soft drink later.
Okay, got your point.
Yeah.
Valentina ji, I've got a question for you.
Yes, please.
There are two characters in the book. I'll name the character. One is Ain, which is your elder sister.
Yeah.
And another character, the sister who got, who got inflicted by the whatever the story is Sarita.
Yes.
Now the thing is, the two names are not somewhat matching.
Yes. I have to change the name. Yes, I have to change Sarita's name. Actually, the thing that happened was with Sarita, so I wanted to connect more, so that is why I took her real name.
Okay. Make it Sarah. Make it Sarah. That'll be
yes.
logical.
Yeah. That I'll do. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, it slipped my mind. I have to change your name.
Mr. Hari Shukla has got a question.
Yeah, Hari Shukla, you can put your video on. We can see you. Maybe this is your first meeting with us. Bring on your question, please. Are you there?
Surely.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible but not visible.
So just give me a second. Let me switch on my video.
Unless you intend to spook us with not being visible.
No. Actually, I just joined in a few minutes back only because Vikram contacted. I think he sent me this link few hours back on Telegram, and I just saw it. So then immediately I just logged in. I thought definitely it would be something very interesting for me. So initially, I think I missed half an hour of conversation you guys had, and what I do understand that you are doing some work where you are looking for a couple of stories. So Vikram, you recall, I am same Hari Shukla who was talking about horror poem.
Yeah. So I'll share with you a link, Hari, and that will help you out with all the questions getting answered. Okay. So if you want to do poems, it's a brilliant idea. At the end of the book, if we have a horror poem, nothing like it, it can work like an epilogue, So yeah, you can do that. Most welcome.
So it's not just about writing a poem. I do write all kind of stuff. I do write stories as well. And precisely I do write both in Hindi and English. Mostly in Hindi because surroundings is like that. Yeah, in English as well I do write. Even my 8-year, 9-year-old son do write quite a good thing. But that's a different thing. But I just wanted to understand the construct of the story, the sort of story or the size of story you guys are looking for. So if it is already done and it is there in the responses of questions, then I can read it, or it's good if you could give me some quick summary of it.
As I told you, I'll be sharing the link with you. Link has got all the detailed description on what we are looking for. Okay, once you have gone through that, you will probably have some questions which you can ask me one-to-one.
Sure.
And I'll be able to help you with that.
Sure, sure.
So till that time, yes, of course, you need to understand the entire concept, like what we are doing, because until you've understood the entire concept, it won't make sense to you otherwise.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. It's absolutely. And in the last, that the language is English, if I understand correctly, right?
Yes, the language is English.
Okay, fine. So I need to write something in English itself. It's a poem.
Yes, yes,
Fine,
yes.
fine. Okay. So I was not sure. I wrote a muktak in Hindi on horror thing, but no worries. I can write in
Yeah,
English.
yeah, you can write in English.
No worries. Thanks. So this was
Thank
the
you,
thing,
thank you.
and I will just check your
Something
name.
has gone wrong with my video.
Yeah,
I
your
think
video is
somebody
still.
is interfering, see, the surrounding is there, but I am missing.
Yeah, it's some horror theme with some crow. Maybe you're
Something.
talking to some cyber security expert, so it is behaving like that.
The raven might have taken you.
I don't know.
Sorry?
One of the ravens are doing something with me.
Yes, you have turned into a raven.
But this itself looks very, thrilling as cover page also. Can give an
Yeah.
idea.
Am I back? Looks like I'm
Yeah,
Yes.
back.
you're
Yes.
back. You're back.
Yeah, I'm back. So I had a brief encounter with one of the ravens, perhaps, and I don't know. Somebody invited me for a dinner in some place. I don't know what he intends to. Yeah. So another newcomer here is Firoz, and then Pawan. Pawan, yeah, Pawan. Let's hear from you.
यस सर, गुड इवनिंग टू ऑल सर.
Good
सर
evening.
मेरा अभी तो एक ही प्रॉब्लम है सर, मैंने तो हिंदी में कंप्लीट कर लिया है, बट ट्रांसलेशन का मुझे कुछ लिंक या कहाँ से मुझे ट्रांसलेट का कुछ आइडिया चाहिए सर.
अरे गूगल ट्रांसलेट करिए ना, गूगल ट्रांसलेट होता है ना.
तो मैं उससे अगर ट्रांसलेट करके भेजता हूँ तो कुछ इमोशन या कुछ में कुछ चेंजेस तो नहीं आएंगे, वो मुझे थोड़ा सा.
वो आप देखिए ना, एक बार उसको ट्रांसलेट करके देखिए, उसमें अपना उसको एज अ राइटर, फिर पढ़ने के टाइम एज अ रीडर, फिर एज अ राइटर, फिर एज अ रीडर, 2-3 बार करेंगे तो आ जाएगा आपका.
ओके सर. सेकेंडली सर, मुझे एडिटिंग के लिए खुद करना पड़ेगा कि आप लोग से हेल्प
देखिए,
मिलेगा?
थोड़ा बेसिक एडिट करके भेजिए, उससे क्या होगा, बेसिक एडिट किया हुआ रहेगा तो सामने वाला पढ़ेगा तो उसको भी लगेगा कि मैं कुछ काम कर सकता हूँ.
यस सर.
अगर बेसिक एडिट बिल्कुल ही ठीक नहीं होगा तो बहुत दिक्कत हो जाएगा. जैसे मेनली क्या होता है, टेंसेस का प्रॉब्लम होता है. कभी आप वॉज लिख रहे हैं, फिर आप इज लिखने लगे.
श्योर सर.
एक बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम ये होता है. कभी दे लिख रहे हैं, कभी ही लिख रहे हैं, कभी आई लिख रहे हैं. तो अगर इसमें थोड़ा सा यूनिफॉर्मिटी पकड़ के चलेंगे तो सामने वाला देखिए, एडिटर कभी भी ना किसी चीज को बिल्कुल बदल नहीं सकता. एक एड ऑन कर सकता है. सपोज वो आपकी वैल्यू को 10% एड ऑन करेगा, तो आप अपना 100% देंगे तो वो 110% बनेगा. अगर आप 50% देंगे तो वो 55 ही बना पाएगा उसको. आप समझ रहे हैं?
हाँ सही सर.
हाँ, तो आप अपना 100% करके दीजिए. उसके बाद जो हम एडिट करते हैं तो उसके बाद में करते हैं.
श्योर सर.
आप टाइम लीजिए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. अगर आपका 13th को नहीं होता है,
10th मई को सबमिट करने वाला हूं.
हाँ, 13th क्या है, फर्स्ट वॉल्यूम के लिए हमने रखा हुआ है, जिससे कि फर्स्ट वॉल्यूम लाने में हमको ज्यादा देर ना हो, और उसी फर्स्ट वॉल्यूम आते ना आते हम सेकंड वॉल्यूम की बात करना शुरू कर देंगे.
सर मैं कोशिश तो मैं सारे वॉल्यूम लाने का है सर.
एंड हरी शुक्ला का आइडिया अच्छा है. हम हर बुक के एंड में एक हॉरर पोएम रख सकते हैं, तो एक पढ़ने के बाद एक आफ्टर टेस्ट जो है ना. सो योर पोएम कंट्रीब्यूशन हरी
सर
विल
वो
बी
अगर
एज
हिंदी
गुड
में
एज अ
हो तो मैं
स्टोरी.
हिंदी में देने के लिए मैं भी कोशिश कर सकता हूँ.
नहीं, हिंदी तो नहीं डालेंगे बीच में, इंग्लिश की बुक्स है तो. एंड द मार्केट इज ऑल इन
स्टोरी खुद है
यूएसए.
सर.
अच्छा, दिस ब्रिंग्स वन आइडिया टू मी. Wherever possible, if the Indian context is not so necessary to be mentioned, like if Satadal's story can be shown as it is happening in London, rather he has shown it like that. My story has got certain Indian references, it has got some cultural background in it, so I have used India as the place. If your story does not demand Indian context, you can place it around anywhere in the world. You can be generic. You can give names which are, if you Google, you will find what are popular names. If you Google what are popular names, you will get popular names that are there in the target market. Where is your target market for your book. It is not entirely India. It is a target market for abroad. So if you can find out which are the popular names, you can use those names. Okay. So that will be a better appeal to the readers. Okay.
But as for this, I have already put it up in Indian context.
No
Shall
problem.
I change?
If your story is in Indian context, if it talks about particular culture or custom, fine, that's fine. Nobody hates India. Everybody loves India nowadays.
Like I will say, Deeptiji's book, Deeptiji's story, sorry, not book, story, it can be anywhere.
Yeah. So Deepti just has to change the name from an Indian name to any. I think she has not used a name also.
She has only put it.
She has not put any name also.
She has put only it.
It's a very cleverly crafted story. And about your Google map, Deepti, you should elaborate on that. It's a good concept. Don't keep it so brief. Thoda sa elaborate kijiye why it is driving you down to that place. What is wrong with that place? Connect it with the rustle that you hear on the marble floor also. You have not connected that.
Yeah, right.
You have to connect that. आपने एक suspense छोड़ा है तो कहीं तो solve करो उसको. I was solving too many suspense. Then SL told me, you are solving out everything. Take away all the solutions. So I took out a couple of solutions. Like in that case, your case, you have to add some solutions. Firoz, you were wanting to say something.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. I am audible?
Yeah, you are audible and visible.
Yeah, I have just tried and written and have already sent to Satadal sir and you also today.
Okay.
I don't know whether I qualify for this or not. I have no idea. Just seeing the last meeting's video, I have tried to follow the things. I don't know whether I'm right or I need your expert advice, and so that some way I can improve that. That's
I think we lost your voice in between. Yes, but I got your point. I got your point that you have sent out your story. We are going to see, we are going to look into that, and we are going to revert on that. And if any reworking is required, it is good. Always be acceptable to suggestions and requests for reworking, because
yes, sir.
Even I am doing that, and by doing that, my story only gets better.
Yes.
So be open to those suggestions. Don't think that it is not up to mark or this or that. I never believe in failure or rejection. Everything is an opportunity to only get better in life. So let us keep it like that. So has everybody got their points cleared? I think Tanmay, you've not spoken yet.
Sir, I think I had discussed with you because I got a revert from you and Satadal sir.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to ask that I think my story is almost like a mythological horror kind of a thing. So I think that is okay with the book or not? I mean,
Tanmay, your story is not a mythological horror, though you may think it like that. You can also link it with, that professor who has like on a mission been to Africa and got hold of a voodoo book. and with that he has experimented something. So you can go global with that concept also. It's not mythological. Don't restrict yourself in your imagination. Open it wide.
The name that I have, I mean, what we discussed has already been changed. So I'll
Yeah.
just put out 2 lines.
Yes,
to
yes.
mention.
He had some manuscript from, he got it from his mission in Africa, because many people do their research missions in Africa. So he got a voodoo book over there, and with the help of that, he tried whatever he tried, and the results and the horror scenes, you have to elaborate a little bit, to generate that fear element. You came to the end conclusion very quickly, but you can elaborate on the horror part. So anybody has any questions, any suggestions, any queries? Hari Shukla, I'll be sending you some links. Go through that. I'll be also adding you to one WhatsApp group, and you can be a part of that to know what's happening. Right?
Thanks.
And so with this, I would request SL to bring out the conclusive remarks of what's happened so far and how we are going ahead with it.
First of all, I'll just underline what Vikramji said at the start of the meeting, that nobody is rejected and nobody needs to feel dejected. Everybody is writing horror for the first time. And if you, follow the guidelines that Vikramji had provided, then I think you can come out with your own horror story. Number one is that. And secondly is we plan to bring out something different, because we are a new author coming into this arena. There are already so many horror authors. So that's why we are stressing on the part that we have to spice it up more, so that it becomes unputdownable. So you have to read your book once again to see what are missing, and you will find it, of course. And thirdly, very important thing, please don't miss out on that. If you are using some references, like I have, I have used the reference of a raven, and where have I come it across from? Where have I got it from? That reference, I've mentioned it, that a raven is so and so, so and so, so and so, so and so, and the reference is this. So if you have used anything that comes from a reference, then please mention that reference also. So that is important. And of course, you can tinker your stories yourself, and you can make it more spooky, more spicy, which is the requirement. And don't feel dejected if your story does not appear in the first volume. There are other volumes coming up, and definitely we will polish it by that time so that it can feature there. Everybody who is contributing, you are doing a great job. Let me say, you are coming out of your genre and writing something else. So that's a good effort, and of course, we plan to bring out a great book very shortly.
And this time when you are resubmitting your final draft, also include your author bio on the last page and your QR code. Okay, so let it come in one go so that we can finalize the entire docket of one particular author and keep it aside for assembling the book. Okay, and if your story has got any connection with any kind of a small caricature, black and white small caricature, make sure it is not a copyrighted image. Make sure it is not a paid to download image. It should be a free resource. If you want to share that image, okay, you can do that. Like you saw my crosshair, on heart, you can do like that if you have it. If no, then no problem. We can put any creative over there. So we are done for today, and thank you very much for patiently attending this meeting and bringing out your views and questions. And I'm sure the question of each person has answered so many unasked questions for others as well. And keep writing. All the best to you. And looking forward to a great anthology. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day.